In 2008, the global financial system cracked open like an egg. Big giants like Lehman Brothers and Bear Stearns collapsed and went bankrupt. Governments bailed out banks with taxpayers' money, and trust in the old financial system hit rock bottom. Amid this chaos, a mysterious figure named Satoshi Nakamoto posted a 9-page paper online proposing something radical, a new form of money called Bitcoin. Today, that invention moves hundreds of billions and even trillions of dollars of value and has changed how we think about the world and finance. But here's the crazy part. As of today, we still don't know who Satoshi Nakamoto is. And it just brings up this question of how is this possible in our hyper-connected world? This is the mystery of Satoshi Nakamoto, the founder of Bitcoin. Now, I spent weeks piecing together clues, reading the original white paper, watching some interviews, digging through the old forum posts, and learning from the books from the experts who have years of experience in this topic. And today we'll explore the origins of Bitcoin, the chaotic world it was born into, and the cryptographic brilliance that made all of this possible. And together, we'll keep asking, who is Satoshi and why does he matter? Before we start, first, let's set the scene. In 2008, the global financial system was in freefall. Lehman Brothers, a massive investment bank with over $600 billion in assets, went bankrupt. Bear Stearns got swallowed up in a fire sale. Millions of people lost their jobs and their savings, and the trust in the traditional financial system, well, you can guess, shattered. In the midst of this chaos on October 31st, 2008, an email surfaces on a niche cryptography mailing list. Attached is a 9-page paper titled Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. The author calls themselves Satoshi Nakamoto, but no one recognizes the name. No big reveal, no press conference, just a big drop of an idea that says, in a sense, we can rethink money, we don't have to trust in these failing giants. It's like the paper arrived when the world asked, can we do it better? And Satoshi said, well, let's give it a try. But before we uncover the mystery of the creator, we have to understand what day he or she created Bitcoin. Bitcoin can feel overwhelming and overcomplicated. But trust me, I'm going to explain to you pretty simply. Let's break it down as simple as possible. So traditionally, when you send money online through a bank or PayPal, you rely on that middleman to keep track. And if the bank fails or make mistakes, you're stuck. But Satoshi flipped this model, and it's pretty genius. The Bitcoin white paper states what is needed is an electronic payment system based on cryptographic proof instead of trust. So instead of trusting someone, you rely on math. In other words, Bitcoin just removes the central authority. Instead, transactions are verified by a network of computers. We call them nodes, and they all hold a copy of blockchain. For blockchain, imagine a giant public spreadsheet listing every transaction ever made. And every 10 minutes, a new block of transaction is added. And you have to ask this question, where do miners come in? Well, miners, these special nodes, compete to solve the cryptographic puzzle. It's like a math race. Whoever wins adds the new block and earns newly minted Bitcoin as a reward. But why does this matter? Because no institution or single person controls the Bitcoin. The math-based rules ensure no one can forge coins or just print more money at will. The supply is capped at 21 million coins, making it scary by design. Cryptography here acts like a digital lockbox, ensuring no one cheats basically. So with that foundation, Bitcoin emerges as a direct response to a system in crisis. An alternative that doesn't rely on those Wall Street wizards or giants. When the first ever Bitcoin block, the Genesis block, was mined in January 3rd, 2009, it had a hidden message inside of it. The Times, January 3rd, 2009, Chancellor on brink of second bailout for banks. Now you see, this wasn't random. It linked Bitcoin's birth to an exact historical moment. While governments were pouring money to failing banks, Bitcoin's launch message seemed to say, there is another way. That block, the Genesis block, can never be spent. It's like Bitcoin's birth certificate, forever making the context in which it was created. And from that starting point, a tiny community began to form around this strange new currency. But they still don't know that the creator will soon be vanish. After the Genesis block, in those early days, Bitcoin was pretty much worth nothing. In 2010, someone famously traded 10,000 Bitcoin or BTC for 2 pizzas. Today, that will be worth over $1 billion, with Bitcoin passing 100,000 just a couple of days ago. And during the early days, early users chatted with Satoshi via emails and forum posts. From what we see in the book of Satoshi, he was polite, helpful, and focused purely on the technology. He never shared personal details, no age, no location, nothing. And sometimes he used British spelling. Was he British or was it just a stylistic choice? No one knows. And by the late 2010, just as Bitcoin was just picking up a little momentum, Satoshi stopped posting and things get interesting. He handed over code maintenance to others and slipped away. No farewell party, no final speech, just gone. As Bitcoin's influence grew, the silence became louder. Who steps away from a potential fortune like this? Now, during the early days, in fact, Satoshi mined a lot of Bitcoins. According to research by cryptographer Sergio Domain Lerner, Satoshi mined around 1 million Bitcoin in the early days. At Bitcoin's peak, which passed around $100,000 in a couple of days ago, that's roughly over $100 billion in value. Enough to be one of the world's richest individuals out there. Yet, Satoshi never spent them. Not a single major transaction from these early addresses. It's like discovering something like a treasure chest and not even opening it. It just seems weird. That restraint is mind-blowing. And with money like that at stake, people have tried to solve the riddle of Satoshi's identity. Therefore, over the years, detectives and online gurus have pointed fingers at cryptographers and developers. One of them is Halfane. He was the first to receive Bitcoin from Satoshi, and brilliant and involved early on. But he denied being Satoshi until he passed away. Then there's Nick Szabo, created BitGold, a concept eerily similar to Bitcoin. Stylometric analysis hints at similarities in writing style, but he says no. Then there is Dorian Nakamoto, bad luck I guess. Chosen by the media because of his name. He was stunned and also confused by the attention that he got. Like, the guy had no idea who even Satoshi is or like Bitcoin. But there is this interesting guy called Craig Wright. He claims to be Satoshi, but has never provided undisputed proof. The community largely rejects his claims. Time zones, language analysis, coding style, nothing nails it down. Every lead is a dead end. If Satoshi covered his tracks so well, maybe that was part of his plan. So why leave at all? Some think Satoshi feared legal trouble. Bitcoin directly challenged the status quo. Some others say anonymity was deliberate. Bitcoin isn't about trusting a founder. It's about trusting open source code and the community. No figurehead means no one to arrest, coerce, or corrupt. By disappearing, Satoshi ensured the project's independence from any single personality. And today, Bitcoin stands on its own feet, proving that an idea can outlive and outshine its creator, unlike many other inventions out there. Now, as of today, Bitcoin secures hundreds of billions of dollars and trillions of value, is accepted in thousands of places, and has even become legal tender in countries like El Salvador. Banks that once laughed at it now invest in it. It sparked thousands of other cryptocurrencies, igniting debates about the future of finance, privacy, and freedom. And through it all, Satoshi remains silent, a ghost of the center of a global movement. And after all the digging, the white paper codes, the cryptographic puzzles, the silent fortune, here is the big takeaway. Maybe we're asking the wrong question. The mystery of Satoshi Nakamoto reminds us that some inventions transcend their inventors. Bitcoin doesn't need a face. It thrives on its own integrity and community. And I want to hear from you. Do you think it matters who Satoshi really is? Or is the mystery part of Bitcoin's magic? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if this deep dive made you think differently about the future of money and digitalization of everything, you can hit the subscribe button and like the video and share it, of course, so we can see more stories that challenge the way that we see the world of today. And of course, like always, let's keep the conversation going, and I hope you have a great day. Cheers.